Special delivery from Discraft. Let's see what all the hoopla about. All right, quick insert, guys. Did not realize this during the filming of the video, but these two discs are actually not the same disc. I just actually got off the phone with Bob. Funny enough, I'm not the first person to think that they were the same. I did think something was up when this disc traveled as far as it did, which you'll see later in the video. But this is basically like a modified Malta. So it's a little bit straighter of a Malta. And then this is going to be your Zone SS. So the bigger logo disc is the Zone SS. And then the other thing too, I want to mention that we didn't mention in the video is this is their new polished ESP. I've been pretty critical of Discraft's ESP when it's brand new. It always feels a little slick. It always feels like I have to throw it a bunch to kind of beat it in for it to actually have that tackiness. This plastic, I'm telling you right now, is incredible. They're calling it kind of like their polished ESP, but I think this is what they're gonna be doing moving forward. So if you can get your hands on one of these with the new ESP, check it out, let me know what you think. But yes, moving forward, we got Zone SS with the big logo, and then this is like a modified Malta SS with the little Paul McBeth logo. Just wanted to let you guys know. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We got a fun video today. We're in the field, and that means we are testing out new discs. And now it is no surprise that I love the Zone. You got the Jawbreaker Zone here, a little Tour Life edition as well. Obviously, the Get Freaky, a staple in everyone's bag. And then the newest edition, the Get Beefy Zone OS. Now, there is a slot that has always been kind of missed, and that is a little bit more of a flippier zone. What I've used in the past is those Jawbreaker zones. I'll kind of beat them in a little bit and they'll get nice and flippy, but Discraft and Paul McBeth might have just solved the problem. They have come out with what they're calling the Zone SS. So we got 4 of them today that we're gonna be testing to see how they fly compared to the Zones and the Zone OSs. And then at the very end, we also have 2 new Climo discs. So the Osprey, which came out a little while ago, they just came out with their Victory line, which feels similar to like a Z plastic, if you're familiar with that with Discraft. And then their newest disc that just came out is the Streak. Now, the interesting thing talking to Discraft about the Zone SS is they want us to come up with our numbers. Now, you guys know I'm not a flight numbers guy, so I'm just gonna throw it and give it to you how I think it is, and we're gonna see maybe if that will find a spot in the bag, and maybe one of these Climo discs we'll find a spot. No more talking, let's get to throwing. So we're gonna be throwing into a little bit of a stiff headwind today, which actually will be a good idea about how stable these are and how they will affect to winds. We're gonna throw a couple shots into the headwind and then a couple shots down tailwind. I'm looking at flight, and then I'm also gonna be looking at the distance too to see how they fly. Jawbreaker Zone, these are all fresh.
I mean, it's really windy, so hopefully these dead cats are working.
Also say what's up to Janice, guys, she's behind the mic.
Saw it.
These are all freshies too, by the way. So these are how they should fly off the shelf. So that Jawbreaker Zone's gonna be nice and stable. Obviously not as stable as the Get Freaky off the shelf, but you hit a couple trees, you played Northwood Black once with this, it'll be flying a lot different afterwards. That one actually came out a little bit more of an Annie. So it obviously traveled a little bit better. Let's go to our Get Freaky. So there's our flat to hyzer Get Freaky. Oh, this thing is puddle top, holy smokes. I just realized that. That thing's got some puddle to it. Yeah, a little straighter probably than normal Get Freakies, just based off of that puddle. This one's probably gonna be a little bit more overstable. We'll throw this one on a little Annie. Yeah, that one's a lot more stable than the blue one. Now we got the beefy boys. This is actually a beautiful one with the Wonder Bread stamp there. These I'm gonna probably throw an Annie for both of them just because of how stable they are. So there's our Zone OS. It is crazy how these discs don't go far at all. They're just so overstable. Get beefy. I mean, I'll be shocked if that's over 150 feet. I think these are dropping right at Worlds, I think Bob told me. So be on the lookout for that. Two different types. We have these, the testy lintos. I don't know if that's said properly. And then those are actually said test flights. I looked these up and it's like slow rhythmic in Italian is what Chat GPT said. I don't know. All right, we're gonna throw this with a slight hyzer, see how she flies. First time throwing the Zone SS. Oh, wow.
Testy linto.
So here's the thing. This might just be a beat-in zone, which is actually kind of cool that instead of if you lose your beat-in zone and you're like, crap, now I have to beat in another zone, you could just buy one of these. That's my first initial thoughts throwing it into a headwind. But we're gonna go with a little Annie and see if it holds this time. That one kind of flipped up to flat and then kind of flexed out. I'm assuming into this headwind, this is probably just gonna turn over.
I know you're thinking about a lot of things, but don't forget to step off to the side.
Step off to the side. Oh, wow.
Whoa.
See ya.
Whoa.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. I think that was user error.
Well, I did throw it on Annie. I threw it on a little bit more Annie than I wanted to. Let's try it again, a little less Annie this time. Oh yeah, okay. So into a headwind, any sort of Annie. I mean, it's just it'll be interesting to see how these things fly on Annie in a tail. I'm thinking if you're throwing into a headwind like this, that's where you gotta throw a hyzer. So we're gonna go back to the hyzer. This is pretty extreme winds out here.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that. That is a thing of beauty though. But what I'm seeing from this disc is I'm seeing characteristics of a beat-in zone, which will actually be very useful to put in your bag, especially when you go into the woods. Let's go Osprey and let's go Streak. We're also gonna shoot my bag to get distances, just to get an idea of how some of these are flying. Prototype, Osprey, Victory Line, climb out. I have no idea if this is flippy or not. I'm assuming this is gonna be a little flippy. Oh, it's a lot of flippy, it's a roller.
I don't even know where that went.
Okay. That's gone in the parking lot. See ya.
Oh, it's in the parking lot.
That's gonna be a disc that we're gonna have to see how it flies in a tailwind.
I didn't even see where it went.
It's a flippy boy. Now this is at all flippy. This thing's going in the parking lot as well. So this might be just a tailwind tosser. I'm gonna put it on a lot of hyzer just in case it's flippy.
Smashes into these houses to the left.
Oh, it's flippy, look at that. That's actually kind of sweet though. That might have had a little backspin on it. All right, let's go check the distances. So distance-wise, we had the Get Beefies right around 240, which seems about right. I'm throwing into about a 20-mile-per-hour stiff headwind. I wouldn't really assume those to go much more than 250 feet. Then we had the Get Freakies and the Jawbreaker zones roughly around the same distance in that 275, 280 range, which again into a headwind, throwing on a little bit of a hyzer, not as big flex shot. That's what I would expect from those. And then the one Zone OS that kind of flipped up and turned and then flexed out at the end, that one actually went 320. So that one traveled quite a bit into a headwind, which is surprising, but also, when you have a disc that can flip up and get a full flight, you're gonna get a little bit more distance. We're gonna throw them down tailwind now. Also of note, the Streak actually went 400 feet.
Oh.
So that thing actually flew pretty far into a headwind. It feels like a fairway, yeah. So, I mean, I'm thinking that this is probably equivalent to like my Vulture, would be my guess, and 400 feet into a headwind is probably what I'm thinking I'm gonna get with my Vulture. So let's start with the Jawbreakers. We've got my bag sitting out there, so now we have a target to aim at, and that bag is sitting at that 320 mark. So we'll throw some shots down at the bag. Just off to the left. And really like these zones I'm getting pretty easy distance These are probably, you know, pushing that 320 to 350 range because of the tailwind. We're gonna go pink, get freaky now. We're gonna probably throw this one a little bit more out on the right. Highs are in here. I gotta push it further right than that. Those are landing probably at like the 330, 340 mark. We're gonna actually try to throw this over the bag on a little flex line. That is sincerely pumped. And I'm guessing that's probably close to 400 feet, just with how much tailwind we got. All right, these get beefies are actually gonna be fun to throw. This is like such a good disc for this tailwind if you just want something to dive in, have no chance of going OB if you're throwing into like an island green. Just basically throw it as hard as you can to the right, and it's gonna fade in, and that's all you have to do.
Beef.
That might go in the bag. Oh, still getting some good distance, man. I haven't thrown in about a week or so. Last time I was playing, I was very sick. That's why I've kind of taken a little bit of time off. And it's nice to see the pop is back right now.
You guys, this fool was sick and then proceeded to run 6.5 miles to think that he could sweat it out. It just made it worse.
Dink. That's better distance control.
Whee! That's kind of zooted.
Yeah, really, I mean, what you're gonna see there into a tail, well, first off, one, super far, but two, the other thing you're gonna see that the big difference between that and the zone is at the end of the flight, as it starts losing its speed, the zone is gonna considerably move more to the left.
Yeah.
You're gonna have more drag. That really kind of just, as it was losing its speed, it was still pushing forward and it was kind of just going straight.
It just loses its height. It
Yeah,
doesn't
just
lose in the shape of the shot.
Correct. You're not gonna see that much drag to the left.
And there she blows.
That one was a little bit more nose up. Good time to tell you, we are gonna be doing a Whatnot show this week over on our Whatnot. You can use the link in the description down below and sign up to get $15 for free to buy any of the discs that we have on sale. And we're gonna be giving one of these bad boys away for free. So make sure you tune in, whether you wanna buy a disc or not, we're gonna be giving away a lot of discs. So sign up using the link down in the description down below, and we'll see you in the show. All right, we're gonna put this on a little bit of an ante now.
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
Yeah, it is pretty much, I mean, the thing is the fact
It's neighbors with the other one.
that is barely coming out at the end.
You good down there?
I had some hair getting caught with my shorts, but the fact that that's barely coming out at the end with how windy it is out here, I'm gonna go ahead and already say, without even throwing this forehand, without even throwing this disc on a course, this is a disc that's gonna be in the bag, 100%. Just because there's so many different shots that I love throwing with a flippy zone, a beat-in zone, and that's what this is. I don't have to try beat-in jawbreakers and then they get too flippy and then I have to take them out. I can just put one of these in the bag and be good. All right, we are gonna...
My hair is making it into the camera frame. I'm sorry, you guys.
We are gonna go power grip here.
It's very, very...
I've been fan gripping everything. We're gonna go power grip, slightly Annie, see how she flies. Put a lot of torque on this one.
Torque. There was torque put on it. Torque, I heard those fingers snap. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, those are all landing right around the same spot. Love it. Pretty consistent.
Wow.
Love the flight. The only one that really faded out a lot was because of a bad nose angle. All the other ones pretty consistent on just dropping out of the sky and not really going to drag. All right, let's see what this thing flies like in a tailwind.
It was scary the last time you threw it.
It's flippy in a tailwind. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say, like, people that have very high, discs that are being thrown at 70 miles per hour or higher, I don't know if that disc is gonna be super useful. I just threw that on a lot of hyzer and a crazy amount of tailwind, it flipped, so. But this could be, if you're looking for something other than a vulture, other than an onyx, something like that, this is basically the same disc. I'm gonna throw this just like my vultures, flat and far.
That bird.
All right, and now we'll shoot the bag, add 320 to that distance, and then we'll give you guys a gauge of how far a lot of those dishes flew. We have the blue Get Freaky that I threw on that flex line. This ended up going 410. Then all the zone SS's were right in that 440 range. I think one might even eclipse the 450 range. So those things were moving downwind. And then the streak, that ended up going just below 500 feet. It's tough to say exactly what's happening right now because like I said, I haven't really thrown full on power in a while, and my body has changed a lot since the last time I've gone and tried to throw far. But I'm happy with those distances. I'm happy with the flights. We're gonna now just test them forehand into the headwind just to see how they react, because one thing that's vastly different between the backhand and the forehand is just the amount of torque that you put on the disc. And so you'll sometimes see discs react differently, and that's why some people will have specific discs for their forehand and not for their backhand. So we'll give a throw with the Get Freaky, the Zone OS, so you can kind of see how those fly into the headwind, and then we'll throw 4 of the Zone S's at the end. Kind of low. I'm gonna throw another one because that wasn't a really great representation. But you're gonna see this mostly go dead straight. Not gonna have too much turn or fade at it. Yeah, when you're throwing into a headwind this crazy, the Get Freaky is just basically a straight shooter with the forehand. All right, the Zone OS now, you'll see this thing come out. Yeah, just right away. I mean, I never throw the Zone OS like that, but I did want to just show you the difference between the two. If I was going to throw the Zone OS into this headwind, I would always throw it like a more of a spike hyzer line. Because the only way to really get distance with that thing is you gotta throw it high and hard. If you throw it low, it's getting to the ground so quick, so fast. Now I'm really curious how these things are gonna fly into this headwind. Zone SS into the headwind. All right, a little low. Didn't really get to see a full flight. See if I can throw this one a little bit better.
Ooh. Okay, so it's a roller disc in the head.
Well, that one turned over into a roller. We're gonna throw this now kind of like how I would throw my beat-in jawbreaker. Close, still turning over a whole bunch. And again, this might not be a disc that when it gets windy, I mean, it's like any other flippier disc. You don't probably throw them when it's windy, especially you don't throw them into a headwind. But we're gonna try to throw one good one here to finish it out. Yeah, it's just not gonna be able to handle the torque into a headwind. Maybe we'll have one where I throw down to you. So I can throw one tailwind forehand.
Okay.
And you film from down here.
All right, bye. I'm scared. I'm scared. Oh.
All right, well, there I threw 4. I said I was gonna throw 1, but these are too fun not to throw. You got to see the flight a little bit differently. Obviously in a tailwind, flew a lot straighter, and even the one that I threw with a little flex that ended up going this direction to you guys, it even came out at the end as well. So basically my review of this disc, I'm definitely going to be looking to find ways to utilize this in my game. I will say one shot that I don't love is trying to throw like touchy forehands with the roach, just the way that it's shaped. This feels so much more comfortable because it feels just like my Get Freaky.
Which one is that?
This is the Zone SS. So the Zone SS just feels exactly like a Get Freaky, and that is the most comfortable feeling I have with a forehand. So when I'm trying to scramble and all that, I'm probably gonna be using this more in the future than me kind of forcing the roach. And the other thing too, when the jawbreaker gets beat in, the jawbreaker zone gets beat in, it doesn't really have those flight characteristics unless it gets to a certain speed. And I'm thinking with this disc, you're gonna see those flight characteristics across the board. If you power down a little bit, it's not all of a sudden it's gonna become a super overstable disc like the jawbreaker zone will. So I think there's gonna be a lot of pieces to my game that I'm gonna be using this disc. I can't wait to try it out in the course in future videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep slinging them discs.